Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the Hoflek of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. The Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Mosai, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah, not Abba, not Yahuwah, not Hashem, not Yahweh, Have, Vave. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua, not Yahusha, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos. It's Yahweh Shai. So got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekah Qurash. Double honors to the apostles, elder bishop, and elders, great millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. And a sincere salutation to all that can believe in this truth and pushing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, sharing like to the whole elect. Shalom to the Outwalk who will listen learning, you few sis will listen learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Atlanta, Camp Prophet of Doom, coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification, another day of edification. Lord, will it be edifying? And I'm going to title this lesson, this is about the Most High showing his power in the earth. This is about the Heavenly Father Yahweh, and it through his only begotten Son Yahweh Shai, showing true power in the earth. So this is copyright disclaimer on the section of the 107. Copyright disclaimer on the section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit educational personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own the copyright to these videos that I'm going to play. This is for educational purposes only. Lord willing, it be edifying. Now, before I get to this video, let me show you what this slow belly Sheetamite said on the video that I did about I had a dream about Southern and Northern Kingdom women on my bus. Let me show you this real quick before I get into this. I just saw this a few minutes ago. So make sure it's showing. So it's kind of small, but you should be able to see it. So this demon said, this is at Trade Wives Be Like. Sheetamite, a so-called white woman. So she said, race and IQ questions. Which parents' genes influence IQ of offspring the most? Also, which race typically scores highest on IQ testing? Which parents' genes are highly expressed in your frontal lobe? Do race and IQ charts match race and income? Black problems are not biblical. They are scientifically, bro. Then she put up hashtag SYSBM. So I clicked on SYSBM. Let me see if you can see it. Go back. Okay. So I clicked on SYSBM. Well, I don't know what that means. I'm sure you out there do. I'm slow. So I'm looking at the videos. Progressive are going to save you, black man. Progressive are not going to save you, black man. Yes, black man, you hold the key. This is why black man hashtag SYSBM. I don't know what that means. I'm slow. So I don't know what she meaning. She being funny. I just want to show that. But it doesn't matter to me. I'm not even going to respond to it. Oh, I did respond and said, let me go back to the comment. Because I don't know if she being funny. Because I'm slow to stupidity. I'm slow to that now. I don't have no more energy for stupidity. So and I will not cast my pearls amongst Edomites ever again. So again, I said to this, I laughed. Let me show it here. Where is it? It ain't show. Oh, let me see. 2 replies right here. So I laughed and I said, loser, why are you here? Go on your own platform and teach that trash. So I went to her channel and I saw, obviously, if that's her platform, I don't know. But anyway, I want to show that. Let's get back to the lesson at hand. Somebody tell me what SYSBM mean. I don't know. So again, the title is, this is about the Most High showing his power in the earth. And shalom to the Akim and tuning in. Yahba Shemal Shah Barakathum. So this first clip here is let's play this. Lord willing, be edifying. I want to back this up. 15 minutes.
Apologizing for it. And then
back this up from the beginning. Turn this volume down. And it's going to be real quick. That's why I titled it, this is the Most High showing his power through his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, in the earth. Check this out.
Explain to me, how do you think the Iranian military strategy is now playing out?
it's working quite well. Iran is hammering the Israeli regime in retaliation for its atrocities and its unprovoked war, and it's hammering U.S. positions across the Persian Gulf region for its atrocities and the unprovoked war. And there's been no let-up in Iranian responses, and that is because Iranian missile and drone bases are all deep underground and inaccessible to the United States, and there's revenge on ordinary Iranians. They've been bombing Tehran and other cities, destroying homes, destroying hospitals, destroying schools, slaughtering children. In one instance, they murdered 165 girls, young girls, at an elementary school. They've been buried today. So since they cannot defeat the Iranian military, they take their revenge on ordinary Iranians.
It's clearly causing chaos in the Gulf states, particularly with the attacks on energy facilities. Is that part of the Iranian strategy to wage economic war as well?
No, Iran has not taken any responsibility for the strikes on the energy facilities, for example, in Saudi Arabia. That could be something carried out by the Israeli regime. But the Iranians have told tankers that they are not. And when these Arab regimes in the Persian Gulf, when they give the United States military bases to use against Iran, then there are consequences. They cannot have their cake and eat it too. They cannot participate in aggression against Iran alongside this Epstein coalition and then sit back and say we're neutral.
Right, but you're not denying the other attacks, are you, in other Gulf countries which do affect energy supplies, and the oil price has gone up significantly. So I mean, that does seem to be part of military strategy, isn't it? I mean, to try and bring them into the war and regionalize it.
No, Iran has been targeting U.S. assets in the Persian Gulf, and those assets could be anything that's linked to the United States. The United States is bombing hospitals. The United States is bombing schools. The United States is bombing Iranian national radio and television alongside the Israeli regime. So U.S. assets in the Persian Gulf, they too will be attacked. But assets that belong to the states in the Persian Gulf region. They have not been touched by the Iranians. However, if they host US forces, because many of the soldiers have left their bases and been taken to hotels, the Iranians will target them. So at the end of the day, if they want this problem to end, they have to expel soldiers of the Epstein regime.
Now, we understand that the Assembly of Experts is trying to appoint a new supreme leader. Could a new leader, do you think, negotiate with Trump and agree to his terms?
No. Iran is not interested in negotiating with Trump or the US regime. Iran is going to punish the United States. And we are in the process of doing it. This regime in Washington has tried to cross a bridge that's a bridge too far. And they're messing with the wrong country. We're not Venezuela, we're not Iraq, we're not Libya, we're not Afghanistan, and we're not Syria. This is the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we will make sure that the United States regrets the aggression against the Iranian people and the slaughter of children and the slaughter of innocent civilians and the murder of the leader. These are crimes against humanity, and the United States and its allies have imposed the law of the jungle upon the world, and they will come to regret it.
But Iran is not a military superpower either, and we're seeing the vast majority of drones and missiles being shot down by air defenses. I mean, you know, surely Iran cannot win a military war and therefore has to go for some other kind of strategy in coming to a settlement.
Iran will defeat the United States. Time will tell. And our drones that are being fired are very old drones. Our missiles that are being fired are very old missiles. They're very inexpensive. And Americans are using up very expensive air defense systems. The Iranians know exactly what they're doing. We haven't even begun using our latest technology, and most of Iran's underground bases have not even been used yet. They have not even been opened up for operation. The Iranians have been planning for this day ever since the invasion of Iraq. They knew that at some point, the Epstein regime will go after Iranians, and therefore they've been preparing themselves for many years. We are fighting for our homeland and our sovereignty and our independence, and our crime is that we oppose the genocide that the British regime and the American regime and Western regimes have been supporting. And we are on the right side of history, and the United States is the aggressor, and we will punish the aggressor and make it regret its crimes against humanity.
What percentage of Iran's missile stocks remain?
The vast majority.
Because after last year's war, it was estimated that Iran had used up around 40% of its missiles. Are you saying that was replenished in the last few months?
Those numbers are provided by the Israeli regime to the media in order to convince foolish Americans that war against Iran is simple. This war was supposed to end, like escalates. That will mean that the most sensitive region in the world, the Persian Gulf, where a quarter of the world's energy comes from, everything could be if the Strait of Hormuz is open or closed, because there will be no oil or gas, and there will be no tankers. For Iran, this is a fight for survival. For the United States, this is a war of choice, a choice that has been imposed upon the American people by the Epstein, and will.
Salakia, hold on. I gotta go back a few ticks because it's jumping. It was jumping. Let me go back a few ticks.
Cannot win a military war and therefore has to go for some other kind of strategy in coming to a settlement.
Iran will defeat the United States. Time will tell. And our drones that are being fired are very old drones. Our missiles that are being fired are very old missiles. They're very inexpensive. And Americans are using up very expensive air defense systems. The Iranians know exactly what they're doing. We haven't even been, most of Iran's underground bases haven't even been used yet. They've not even been opened up for operation. The Iranians have been planning for this day, invasion of Iraq. They knew that at some point the Epstein regime will go after Iranians, and are fighting in our sovereignty and our independence. And our crime is that we oppose the genocide that the British regime and the American regime and Western regimes have been supporting. And we are on the right side, and the United States is the aggressor, and we will punish the aggressor and make it regret its crimes against humanity.
What percentage of Iran's missile stocks remain?
The vast majority.
Because after last year's war, it was estimated that Iran had used up around 40% of its missiles. Are you saying that was replenished in the last few months?
Those numbers were always fake. Those numbers are provided by the Israeli Americans that war against Iran is simple. This war was supposed to end in a day or two. The 12-day war was supposed to bring Iran down like a house of cards. That failed, this failed, and now the United States will have to pay the price. And if the United States escalates, that will mean that the most sensitive region in the world, the Persian Gulf, where a quarter of the world's energy comes from, everything could be destroyed. And if that happens, it doesn't even matter if the Strait of Hormuz is open or closed, because there will be no oil or gas, and there will be no tankers. For Iran, this is a fight for survival. For the United States, this is a war of choice, a choice that has been imposed upon the American people by the Epstein class. We will expel the United States from our homeland, and we will make sure that the United States never again thinks about aggression against our country. And we will not allow the Israeli regime to behave with impunity and to continue genocide against the Palestinian people.
Isn't the truth, though, that a lot of Iranian people want to see this government toppled? We saw tens of thousands taking to the streets just weeks ago, and many thousands of people were killed by this security forces. So public opinion is divided on this.
Don't believe your propaganda. That's silly.
Well,
I've already had an interview. I've already spoken with your colleague. Though the people who were killed, 3,117 people were killed, hundreds were police officers and people who were patrolling the streets as volunteers, and hundreds of others were ordinary people, militants, and these terrorists who were using weapons to kill. In your country, if they kill a single police officer, there'll be outrage. Here, they killed hundreds, including the volunteers. So this was no peaceful protest. And you know quite well, because I know you follow these things. In Iran, on February the 12th, we had millions of people on the streets of Tehran and tens of millions across the country rallying against the rioters. And on February the 11th, on the 47th anniversary of the revolution, we had millions of people again on the streets of Tehran and tens of millions across the country. And as we're speaking across the country, as we're speaking now, you have millions of people on the streets of Tehran under bombardment. And in other sectors, Ayatollah Khamenei. So you can pretend all you want that Iranians want their country to be bombed, believing their own propaganda are going to hit their head once again against a brick wall. But this time, the price will be very high, and I think it will bring about a change in global politics.
I'm not denying that huge numbers of people have come out in support of the government, but from your own account of the way people have been killed, and clearly divided to some degree, and there are many people who do not support the government. And but I wonder, you know, often in wartime, public opinion changes, and the acts of an outside aggressor can change public opinion. And I just wonder whether you think that might happen in Iran.
No, the strong majority of Iranians, even according to polls taken by the University of Maryland, for example, in the past, I don't know if they still carry out polls, but it shows that the strong majority of Iranians support the Constitution. And now that the United States is murdering Iranians, many of those youngsters who are on the streets, who believe the fake Western narratives about human rights and dignity and freedom, are watching children being slaughtered, and Western media is ignoring it, and Western governments are not even apologizing for it. And the British and the German regime, the German chancellor says there must be regime change in Iran. The German chancellor was first against us, that killed so many thousands of people. The German regime has no credibility and is in no position to talk about Iran. And the divisions that exist right now in your country and the United States are far greater than the divisions that exist in Iran. The people of Iran are united, and we will see that the United States will fail, and the United States will pay a heavy price. And ultimately, people will see that the emperor has no clothes. The United States bullies country after country. It strangles Cuba. It takes the people of Venezuela hostage. It imposes Al-Qaeda rule on the people of Syria. Iran was a bridge too far. Iran will show the Americans that they're messing with the wrong country.
What about the competence, though, of your security at so many senior figures? We have now seen that, again, the clerics have met in the Assembly of Experts building in Qom, and that has also been bombed. I mean, does it not strike you as very odd that senior Iranian figures are still meeting in known places where they can be targeted?
No, no one was in that building. Why do you believe this nonsense? And senior military figures, except for in the office of the leader, a number of people who were killed, no one else was killed. And Ayatollah Khamenei said that I'm going to remain in my house because many people who are struggling cannot leave their homes. And I will stay here till the end because of these people. And he stayed and he was martyred. That's not something that your leader would ever do. But in any case, we are seeing the Iranian armed forces effectively pushing back against this sinister superpower of our time and against this genocidal Zionist regime that continues to slaughter people in Gaza, in Palestine, and in Lebanon. Simultaneously, they're waging war, and Iran is pushing them back. At the same time, we see that the government, despite the maximum pressure sanctions, we see that people have food, that there are no queues. So that is pretty significant, I must say. And your government, which has no sanctions and has no war, the regime in London is not proving to be very efficient nor very popular.
Just finally, I mean, the United States president and the Israeli prime minister killed the Iranian supreme leader. Will it now be the aim of the Iranian military and all its networks around the world to take their revenge on those individuals?
What the United States did was a crime against humanity. What it is doing is a crime against humanity. We have no expectations from the West, nor the Western media. Western elites for us are a bunch of worthless barbarians. Iranians will protect themselves. I do not know what Iran will do or its allies will do across the world, but the entire world is sick and tired of the way in which the United States and its proxies in Europe behave.
And this is him plainly saying the world is tired of the self-proclaimed so-called white man. Period.
It's a rogue regime. As we speak, they are strangling the people of Cuba. They're preventing food from getting in. I don't see any outrage in the Western media. Why? Because the Western media is just as worthless as Western elites.
We'll leave it there. Mohammad Marandi, thank you very much.
The Western media is go back to medium, which is witchcraft, man. So yeah, hold on here. Put this up. Hold on. Select you. Move that. And put this up. All right, so let's drop this. I got one more here I want to play a little bit. Maybe about 5-6 minutes. And I just got one precept. Actually got another clip on the play from Richard Wolff. Let's go back to this.
Very scary. It is unimaginable for the people with children.
democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. Israel's launched another wave of airstrikes against Iran with loud blasts reported in Tehran this morning as the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran enters a fifth day. The reported death toll in Iran has surpassed 1,000, with the victims including many children. This is a resident of Tehran who was forced to flee to Armenia.
I am from Tehran. There were constant bombings. There are 50 to 60 bombings daily. Very scary. It is unimaginable for the people with children. Food working. The hospitals are working too. So do the fueling stations. Nothing else is working. There's practically nobody in the city of Tehran. Everybody moves in the countryside. Those who have cottages over there. Others stay indoors. The city is deserted.
The Navy could soon begin escorting oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz after a commander in Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps threatened to set ablaze any ship that passes through there. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to the U.S.-Israeli joint attacks, disrupting global energy markets as the strait is a key waterway for oil and gas. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the Trump administration had sunk an Iranian warship in the Indian Ocean, leaving over 100 people missing. Iranian media reported today's funeral ceremony for Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was assassinated Saturday, has been postponed. His son, Mojtaba Khamenei, has reportedly emerged as the frontrunner to replace his father as Iran's supreme leader, according to the New York Times. Israel has said whoever is chosen as new supreme leader will become, quote, an unequivocal target for elimination, unquote. Israel's already bombed the Assembly of Experts building in Qom, where the decision was expected to be made. For more, we're joined here in New York by Nargis Bajogli. She's an associate professor of anthropology and Middle East studies at Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies, or SAIS. Professor, welcome back to Democracy Now! Talk about the latest, the significance of what's happening right now, and about the killing, the assassination of the Supreme Leader Khamenei.
Seems like one of the first strikes that happened on Tehran in as soon as this war began was a decapitation.
I gotta go no more than that. I just looked at this title. Hey, she say, Professor say U.S. and Israel underestimated Iran. Hey, this is the power of the Lord. That's my point. So let me pull this other one up with Richard Wolff real quick. I just play a little bit of this. I don't feel like hearing them Shedemites talk. Nothing else. Can't stand these devils. Play some of this Idumi in here. A little bit of this. Then I just got one precept, man. Just one. One powerhouse precept, and I'm gone. Hold on. Run this back.
Welcome, friends, to another Wolff Responds.
Maybe the title that get me. Iran, another war likely lost. They talking about America's lose. And we know according to scriptures they're gonna lose. And like the brother, hold on. The brother Isaiah Idaho put up. I love to read that Isaiah 47. But the one is let me go to it real quick. Verse 9, I think it is. Because everything that's going on outside of America, Babylon the Great. Listen, everything that's going on outside of America, Babylon the Great, in the other countries, when they get to America, it's going to be perfect. The destruction of America is going to be perfect. Jacob's trouble, perfect. It's going to be perfection. Famine, perfection. The teeth of wild beasts, perfection. Look at this. It's important to understand why these scriptures are here, man. Isaiah 47:9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, and one day, the loss of children, which happened to us, and widowhood, which happened to us first. They shall come upon thee, how, Lord, in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. And what did the guy say? America's media, hey, the small has controlled the media. Just like they said, Ukraine is winning the fight. These devils in America said Ukraine was winning the fight, but ain't no more men in Ukraine. All the men and teenagers and boys between 16 and 25, they annihilated. But Ukraine winning the war. How? With the women? This is the media that Esau used. Babylon the Great. It's about that media, which is enchantments. The sorceries and enchantments. And when you go to the word sorceries, so you got the one. Let me get this real quick. I don't want even finna do this, but let me go over here. When you go to the blue letter, what is that? Galatians 4, it may be. Let me see. No, maybe it's 3. Let me see. Let me find this word. Witchcraft, right? Find the word witchcraft real quick. See the Galatians 5. Okay, so in Galatians 5:20, let me get this word witchcraft. Then I'm gonna go to the one in Revelation. So for this word here, witchcraft is G5331, right?
Strong's G5331. Pharmakeia.
Right? Pharmakeia, the use or administering of drugs, poisoning, sorcery, magical arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. The deception and seduction of idolatry. Strong definition. It's a magic, sorcery, witchcraft. When you click on G5332, it's a one who prepares or uses magical remedies. The strong definition, a druggist, pharmacist, or poisoner, a magician, sorcerer. So it said a druggist, one who mixes drugs. Let's go to the one in Revelation. Revelation 18 and 23, the word sorcery. Let's go to this. The same word, G5331, pharmakeia. Then you go to G5332, a druggist, right? So the witchcraft, the sorceries, because this one in Isaiah is different. So let's go to the one in Isaiah 47 real quick right here in verse 9. This sorcery, H3785, it got witchcraft, sorcery, magic. The strong definition: to practice witchcraft or sorcery, use witchcraft. It got to whisper a spell, enchant or practice magic. So through their media is what these devils do. So it's a Isaiah 47:9, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, And one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So let's get the word enchantments. H2267. It got a charmer. You see what it says, Sirach 12? Nobody's gonna mourn for you that's bitten by a damn serpent, man. Charmer, enchantment. Let's go to the strong H2266. It got to unite, be joined, to tie magic charms, make an ally of, heap up. We got league, have fellowship, charming, join together. And that's that. It's a league, have fellowship. That's that Isaiah 28, verse 15. Right? They have made a covenant with death, and that held out their agreement. You gotta go to the word agreement and the covenant in that verse, Isaiah 28 and 15. So let's go play some of this.
Call this one Iran, a likely losing war. Or if you like, another war likely lost. I want to put the Iran war, started unilaterally by the United States and Israel a few days ago, first of all, into historical context, because that is so rarely done. Since the end of the Second World War,
and we know prophecy, because this is about prophecy playing out. As Jeremiah 49 and 20, the Lord mentioned Edom in that verse. So when you read Jeremiah 50 and 45, it's the same verse, but it got Edom in it. It mentions Edom in 49. So letting you know in Jeremiah 50, it's still talking about the Edomites, because the modern day Chaldeans, the warlocks, the witchcrafters, the Magi's, is the elites.
the United States has engaged in 4 major wars: Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq. The war in Korea ended in a stalemate. The United States did not win. It divided Korea in half, which is why we still have one country called North Korea and one country called South Korea. The second war in Vietnam, the United States simply, and I want to use the English word here, lost. The enemy in that war was the Communist Party of North Vietnam. Who runs Vietnam today is the Communist Party of North Vietnam. They won, and the United States lost. In Afghanistan, the next war, the enemy was the Taliban. Who runs Afghanistan today? It's the Taliban. The U.S. lost. In Iraq, there's a constant liquid kind of shifting of who's in charge. Kind of hard to pinpoint who won. But it's clear who didn't. The United States didn't win and isn't about to. So when I say Iran, another war likely lost, you can see why historically this is a country that ought not to be anywhere near so quick on the trigger as this case of Iran. Iran couldn't threaten the United States. It has no way to do that. And if it did do it, would suffer a consequence no rational government would do. But the United States and Israel went ahead anyway, and I want to look at that. War is a terrible scourge. It kills mostly people who who have nothing to do with it, what we like to sometimes call civilians. And that is already the case in Iran after even only a couple of days. It leaves lifelong scars on entire populations, especially when the war happens in their own country. But as we have learned, more American soldiers died after those wars I mentioned by suicide than were killed in the actual combat. That's what I mean by horrible consequences. I want now to turn to what are the likely consequences of Iran, some of which you will not hear a word about in the mainstream media, some you will, but not in the way or to the extent I'm going to do in the next few minutes.
And you know why the Babylonians ain't worried about it? Because it's not knocking on their front door. Wait till Amos 5 and 16 play out. Amos 5, 16, all the way through 19. Wait till that play out when calamity knock on your door. Oh, like the brother y'all recall in Kim say, for most, calamity ain't gonna even knock on the door. Your door just gonna fucking fly off the hinge. And then you gotta defend for yourself.
Okay. This is another American war on a Muslim country. You know, like Iraq, like Afghanistan. It is important to understand that in many parts of the world that the United States has to live with, many more people on this planet are Muslim than are American. Many times more. It is therefore.
See, that's heavy because I did a video, I did 2 of them on this new Muslim NATO, which is 2nd Ezra 15, 28 through 33 playing out. The Khameneans joining with the dragons of Arabia. These Muslims nations, the Shiites and the Sunnis, this is really about to happen.
Or risky to keep killing Muslims. The 4 countries I mentioned, Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and Iraq, would be listed among the 10 poorest countries on the face of the earth, both at the time of their wars with the United States and today still. Maybe not true for Vietnam, which has come back with quite a stunning economic growth record. But the United States was always the most militarily powerful country in the world, and it could not win against 4 of the poorest countries in the world.
That's heavy.
Who had a small or non-existent Army, Navy, and Air Force, mostly non-existent. Think about that, please. Wars are mostly about the domestic problems of the countries that go to war. Typically, the leaders who get us into wars, or to get anybody into wars, are trying by a war with another country to overcome their own domestic difficulties.
Yep. Real quick. This is crazy. So the brother just put in the chat, the brother y'all recall, man gets honorable discharge from U.S. military after deploying in Iran and asking where the hoes at. Hey, Jake found his way to get out of that. Oh, man, that's crazy.
That's why you can't trust most of what governments say. That's why a famous journalist, and I wish I knew exactly who it was, maybe one of you can enlighten me, but a famous journalist a few years back wrote that fantastic line, and I quote, "The first casualty in every war is the truth."
Hey, Jay got a dishonorable discharge. He got an honorable discharge. Jake found his way. Jake found the loophole in the system and got out that shit. That's crazy.
The two sides tell lies. They enhance their victories and they hide their defeats. The U.S. doesn't do that alone, but the idea that the U.S. doesn't do it what would be the domestic problems that Mr. Trump in war on Iran? And let's make no mistake, Israel doesn't decide. It's Mr. Trump and the advisors around him who made the decision. Well, here we go. And this you will know.
See, they don't understand, man. They don't understand. The brother put in the chat, in the main chat the other day, I think I put it in our chat. Putin and Trump, everybody just puppets. I think I put it in the chat. Yeah, here you go. Let me show this. Trump ain't make no damn decisions, man. There's the elders put in the main chat, the elders chat. Yeah, they just puppets. Look at the hands that control them. You know, Jay create AI. But yeah, how about Shema Rashad controlling these devils, man? Trump ain't doing nothing on his own, man. Yeah, how about Shema Rashad doing it? And that's why I just got one precept. 2, I just thought about Job 24.
The economic system of the United States is in very deep trouble. There aren't enough jobs. There's not enough housing. The cost of food is driving many people over the edge of economic insecurity. We don't use honest words like hunger anymore, so we call it food insecurity. What it means. With elections coming up in a few months, in November, Mr. Trump faces a terrible problem that the Democratic Party, all of its wings, progressive, centrist, have made affordability a weird, indirect word that could and should be replaced by too much month at the end of the money.
Anyway, that was the point I wanted to make on that. Let me get this precept real quick. So this is Second Ezra. Not Second Ezra, I'm sorry. Wisdom of Solomon 12. Let's pull this up. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 12. Let me blow this up. Wisdom of Solomon 12 and verse 15, it reads, "For as much then as thou art righteous thyself, thou orderest all things righteously, thinking it not agreeable with thy power to condemn him that hath not deserved to be punished. For thy power is the beginning of righteousness, and because thou art Lord of all, it maketh thee to be gracious unto all. For when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength." And how did the Lord do this? That was a earthquake that killed. It wound up when it was over, killed over 50,000 people in Turkey. There has been mudslides that killed thousands of people at one time. There's been tsunamis, rain, snowstorms. The one snowstorm that killed the girl up in New York last year or the year before. These years have been going fast as hell. She froze in her car trying to go see her uncle, right? Get to her uncle to help him. She froze in the car. On another hand, in California, some people are burnt up in their car. This is the Lord showing his power. Earthquake in New York. Never happened before. Well, I'll tell you in Matthew 24, it's going to be earthquakes in diverse places that never been before. And the Lord had to tell us why it's going to be earthquakes. He didn't have to give us the details of the so-called white man going to be taking all the oil out the earth. Therefore, the place going to screw up. He didn't have to give the details. The Lord gave us, like Elder Yashua might say, the abridged version of the scriptures, what we need to know, what's important for salvation. Like I tell you, Hebrews 6 and 9, things that come to salvation, though we does speak. So, and the so-called white man is the left hand of the Lord. And they tell you in Psalm, I think that's Psalm, what is that, Psalm 144? Or Psalm 146, hold on, that their right hand is the right hand of falsehood. So no matter what Esau is using, it's from Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Let me see here. Psalm 143. Nope. Yeah, Psalm 144. It reads, verse 7, send thy hand from above, which is Yahweh Shai, rid me and deliver me out of great waters from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood. Right? Let me get this. When you go to Isaiah 10, it's Isaiah 10 and verse 12. See, we were sent here for a correction. We were sent here to be corrected through punishment, right? Judgment, and then corrected. The Lord said he nourished over discipline in Sirach 17, verse 17 and 18. In Jeremiah 30, the Lord said he will not leave us altogether unpunished, but he will correct us in measure, right? This is about the Israelites. The heathen nations, all of them, are just collateral damage and casualties of war. So after we was punished and then corrected, the Lord said he was going to destroy the self-proclaimed so-called white man. That's why I tell you in Psalm 73 and 20, the Lord, he said he's going to despise that image. When he awake, which he was never asleep, he just hid his face. The Lord said, and he hid his face from Esau, completely going back to Cain. The Lord never showed himself to Esau. He gave him power, though, to control the earth, but he never showed his face to him. This is why it's called, and when you're reading Sirach 16 and 23, it said, he that wants of understanding will think upon vain things and err and imagine follies. So all he can think about is folly because the Lord ain't give him the right hand side. That's ours. The Holy Spirit is our family heirloom. Esau's family heirloom is the sword. So the Lord said after he corrected the Israelites through punishment, through judgments, he was going to destroy the heathen, starting with the so-called white man. This Isaiah 10 and 12. Wherefore shall come to pass that when the Lord have performed his whole work upon who, Lord? Upon Mount Zion and on Jerusalem, I will punish the fruit of the stout heart of the king of Assyria and the glory of his high looks. This is what Esau said, verse 13. For he said, by the strength of my hand, I have done it, and by my wisdom, for I am prudent, and I have removed the bounds of the people. Habakkuk 2, right? He heaped it to himself. Micah 2 and 1. He take away fields and cover by violence, oppress a man in his heritage. And I have removed the bounds of the people and have robbed their treasures. That's James 5. And I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man. And my hand have found as a nest the riches of the people. Habakkuk 2 and 5. And as one gathered eggs that are left, have I gathered all the earth. Habakkuk 2. And there was none that moved the wing or opened the mouth or peeped. That's the first Maccabees 1. When it said Alexander conquered the known world, the earth was quiet before him. This is the same thing right here. This is a so-called white man have waxed proud by using the sword. But listen what the Lord said, verse 15. Shall the axe boast itself against him that heweth it therewith? Or shall the saw magnify himself against him that shaketh it, as the rod should shake itself against them that lift it up, or as if the staff should lift up itself as it were no wood. Therefore shall the Lord of hosts, send among his fat ones leanness, upon the Edomites, leanness, and under his glory he shall kindle a burning like a burning of a fire. So now here go the saints for spewing on their glory. Yeah, we got the blueprint. This is what the Lord said in Psalm 73 when Asaph said, when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, I was envious. But he said, until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh, then understand how that latter end. This is what the Lord said in Proverbs 3:33. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, because the Lord set them in slippery places. And they have no clue. So going back to this, Wisdom of Solomon 12:17. For when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength. How? Through earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, judgments in the earth. For when men will not believe that thou art of full power, thou showest thy strength. And among them that know it, which is the prophets, thou makest their boldness manifest. Why? Because they're like, oh shit, the Lord coming through. The Lord is coming through on his word. Matter of fact, let's back that up. Isaiah 44, in verse 24, it reads, thus saith Yahweh thy Redeemer, and he that formed thee from the womb. I am Yahweh that maketh all things, that stretcheth forth the heavens alone, that spreadeth abroad the earth by myself, that frustrated the tokens of the liars, and maketh diviners mad, that turneth wise men backward, and maketh their knowledge foolish. They don't control the information no more. The so-called white man has lost the information age. That confirmeth the word of his servant. How? And perform the counsel of his messenger. How is the Lord confirming the word of his servant? Because he's performing the counsel of his messengers, which is the words of the Lord. So among them that know it, he make their boldness manifest, because we like, man, that's why I always say the apostles got to be on edge of their seat, watching the prophecy play out that they've been prophesying for so long. It's happening real time. So then, going to the Isaiah 14, because Esau boasting like he did it, right? This is Isaiah 45:9. It reads, woe unto him that strive with his maker. Like Isaiah 14, he was like, I'm the one that did this. Through my strength, through my hand, I did this. No, you the left hand of the Lord. And the Lord, like he see puppets, like what's this guy, Jeff Durham. I used to watch him with his little puppets. He got the pinata on the stick. He got the old dude, right? The Lord got his hand right up in your Ross Clyde. Woe to him that strive with his maker, that the potsherd strive with the potsherd of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou, or thy work? He have no understand. He have no hands. And then it's Isaiah 29:16. It reads, surely your turn of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he have none understanding? Then I just thought about this one just now. Ecclesiastes 33 in verse 13. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, Romans 9, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liking him best. And what the Lord likened the so-called white man to? The worst of the worst, the basis of men. That's the prophecy in Genesis 3 and 14. The Lord said, on thy belly shall I go, which is mean that's the lowest you can get. And thus shall thou eat all the days of thy life, which represents confusion. So, closing precept, Job 24. Because it's over for these devils, man. It's downhill from here. Job 24 and 23. Though it be given him to be in safety, whereon he resteth, yet his eyes are upon their ways. The Lord is watching through the angels. They are exalted for a little while, but are gone and brought low. They are taken out of the way as all others, and cut off at the tops of the ears of corn. And if it be not so, who will make me a liar and make my speech nothing worth? I got to close with this last one. Proverbs 20 and 21. It reads, hey, because the beginning of their reign was beautiful with the Greeks, right? With Alexander the Greek. And this is why in college, it don't call it a Roman fraternity, right? It's called a Greek fraternity. Why? Because that was the highest, that was the height. Like the point I make, the Greek empires, when they established their wickedness, they established the sword. The Roman Empire, when the so-called white man magnified the sword, he magnified his wickedness. The American Empire is when they have what? Perfected their wickedness. They have perfected the sword. And this again, Isaiah 47, is why the perfection that's coming to America, the judgment, is going to come perfect. It's going to come perfect. Because the so-called man around the world, he's been wielding the sword so much, he's perfected wickedness. He has perfected weaponry. Because none of the devil is targeting the Israelites. Everything is a weapon against us, man. Food, the air, the water, the people. Fuck around and play with a gun wrong, he gonna shoot you. Fuck around and play with a gun wrong, he gonna shoot you. Fuck around and playing with nunchucks and wielding swords wrong, you're gonna get cut and beat up. Everything is turned to a weapon to you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. This devil has perfected wickedness on every level. This is the highest they can go. AI is the highest the so-called white man can get. That's it. And he has done his job. He created the missiles from out the atom bomb. They split the atom. So now they put a GPS on the missiles. The infrastructure for the mark of the beast is set up. So all we're waiting on now is order op KO. Everything is done. That's why the Lord said he removed the wisdom, the little bit of wisdom they had, the Lord removed it. They just needed enough wisdom to create the infrastructure for the mark of the beast, the missiles, put a GPS coordinates on them. Then he can get his ass out the way. He's done from here. Proverbs 20 and 21. An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning. An inheritance is the land, and they conquered the known world with the Greeks. And when the so-called white man conquered the original Greeks, and he took over. An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. And what it say in Job, and matter of fact, I go back to Job 24, because Job 24 say, their portion is cursed in the earth. Let's read it. Job 24, in verse 18. He is swift as the waters. That was Alexander the Greek. That's how he conquered. 12 years. He is swift as the waters. Their portion is cursed in the earth. Now I can get 3 other precepts to back up this word cursed in the earth and what nation of people is cursed into so-called white man. Proverbs 3 and 31, Isaiah 34 and 5, Genesis 3. All goes to this right here, Job 24 and 18. He is swift as the waters. Their portion is cursed in the earth. He beholdeth not the way of the vineyard. Yeah, man. And so with that, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rekah Kodash. Give honor to the apostles, elder bishops, and elders of great millstone who rule well, who teach well. I'm going to read this again. In a sincere salutation to all that I can believe in this truth and pushing this truth, but the 4 winds of the earth, the entire world, shedding light to the elect. Shalom to the Akbar who listen learning. If you sis will listen learning. This is again Wisdom of Solomon 17. I'm sorry, Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 17 For when men would not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength, and among them that know it, thou makest their boldness manifest. This is why, brother, stand in great boldness, because the Lord is manifesting his prophecies. But thou mastering thy power, judges with equity, and orders us with great favor, for thou mayest use power when thou wilt. And if they don't get it, oh well. Till next time, I say shalom. Walk Baba Ball. Hey, the wife for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema Shah continue to bless you in your houses. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. Shalom. Hey, the water for your precepts.